Now we are going to witness one of the very important moments in the history of Internet Society Sri Lankan chapter, which is the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the ICT Agency Sri Lanka and the Internet Society Sri Lankan chapter. To sign the MOU, may I have the honor of welcoming Ms. Chitrangani Mubarak and the CEO of ICTA and the President of Internet Society Sri Lanka, Chairperson of ICTA, apologies, and the Internet Society Sri Lankan Chapter President, Madam Sagarika Wickramasekara, and the Chairperson of Internet Governance Forum Sri Lanka, Mr. Maheshwara Kirindigoda on stage, please. Thank you. And Mr. Samira Jayavardhana, the Program Manager at ICTA. Ladies and gentlemen, this MOU marks a milestone in the partnership and relationship between the ICTA and the Internet Society Sri Lankan chapter.
Yeah. I love this.
Chevy Cruze and Malibu are making quite an impression.
Wi-Fi.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now we are going to have the panel discussion on cyber security and safer internet forum. May I have the privilege of welcoming the following dignitaries to the head table, please? Mr. Champika Wijayatunga, Mr. Sashika Suren, Ms. Sagarika Wickramasekara, Mr. Kushan Sharma, and Major Kingsley Samarasinghe. And Mr. Shreedeep Rayamajhi is joining online with us today. And the panel discussion will be moderated by Mr. Champika Wijayatunga. Over to you, Mr. Champika. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back after the tea break. So this session, as you heard, so this is a panel discussion going to be on cybersecurity and safer internet. I don't think I have to define the two terms. It's very well understood, cybersecurity and safer internet. So now we have some very capable few panel members. So just to introduce myself, I'm Champika, and I represent ICANN, which is the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. That's the organization. And ICANN is a multi-stakeholder body, and we are very happy to support the event, the IGF Sri Lanka. And so I think I will also let the panel members also, okay, first of all, like my role from a security point of view, I have a responsibility as the security, stability, and resiliency engagement. So I work as the engagement manager for the Asia Pacific. Now, I will also actually let each panel member introduce themselves, and also their affiliation and their main responsibility, so that we can take it from there. So,
Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Major Keith Samarasinghe, representing the Sri Lanka Armed Force. My scope here is to protect our internet network, because now we are in a process of shifting our old version of administration system to the present trend. That means network in our administration system. In that case, we are facing a trouble because of the knowledge of the individual who are operating the network, and due to that there is a possibility to, as we have the experience very recently, the hacking or a cyber crime, vulnerable to cyber crime. In that case, we have to find some ways to protect our network system or administration system, because if somebody hack or attack to our system, it will be a trouble or a problem for entire country sometimes. Because of that, uh, we need to protect our entire system. Based on that, I particularly want to discuss or share your knowledge or ideas to protect the system. Thank you.
Sagarika Wickramasekara. I feel that you all might know me. And I'm the president of Internet Society Sri Lanka. And as well as I'm working as a network manager for the Sri Pali campus, Colombo University. And today we are here to educate and to have the policy decisions on cyber security or the safer internet. So we are facing so many problems because I'm always with the kids and the women, and always I'm hearing problems and like listening to their grievances. I had this type of attack from my Facebook. How do I prevent that? These sort of things. So I guess as Internet Society Sri Lanka, what we want to do is we want to educate you all how to surf internet safely, and how to surf internet like protecting your privacy without by harassing from others. So that is the main aim of the Internet Society and the IGF today. So here we are witnessing the multi-stakeholder forum. So there are so many people from the armed forces and the civil society and the policymakers. So in this forum, I guess this is the platform where you could raise your voice, because most of the time we are voiceless in the internet, because without even knowing the technology, you have a fear. How do I protect myself while I'm surfing? So I guess all these experts are here today to help you all and raise your questions, and we will be answering you within the capacity which we have, and if not, we will push that to the policymakers, and we will try to be your voice. Thank you.
yeah, thanks, Sagarika. Maybe Sashika, you can also actually just introduce yourself, especially from your. I know that you've been involved with .lk registry as well as now with Text. Say, so maybe from your perspective, how do you introduce yourself and how you want to contribute?
Yeah, hi, I'm Shashika, and currently working as a senior information security engineer at TechSet. So before joining the TechSet, I actually a system engineer at LK Domain Registry. So we basically, as a TechSet, we will be basically supporting all the financial institutes and the government institutes to secure their information assets. So in recent also we have had some guidance to the recent attack that we had that all the that is the world had gone through. So basically, by representing the TechCert and the LK domain registry, also we will be uh, actually advise or give the guidance to how you are safe when you are browsing the internet. So that is will be the main purpose of having here.
Okay. Thank you, Sashika. And if I follow to you.
Yes, thanks, Champika. I'm Kushan Sharma. So I'm the engineer manager at TechCert. Extending Sashika's discussion, so introduction. We actually would like to discuss about the things are happening around internet, the current happenings, and the previous experience based on the cybersecurity incident reported in Sri Lanka. So, what we have learned out of those incidents, and how can we share the knowledge with you guys to safeguard our infrastructure, internet, and the cyberspace belongs to Sri Lanka and as a global community. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Kushan. Now, actually, I was told that we also have a remote panel member joining from Nepal, I believe. Yes, maybe if we can get a quick introduction from him.
Hello, can you hear me?
Or if he's not ready, we can continue. All right, good. No problem. So thanks all for that introduction. So I think, first of all, looking at the important goals, I would say, from a security point of view. So there are a few things. We talk about the infrastructure. A lot of them, these panel members, they talk about the infrastructure. And also, actually, especially the members from TechCert, they talked about incident response. In case if something happens, how are we going to respond? Also, actually, Sagarika, when she was talking about, she mentioned about things like the women, the children, and the safety aspect from that angle. And also, actually, our person from the defense, he mentioned about the especially the security aspect from a country's perspective, from a national perspective, or even I would say even from a law enforcement. Probably I would even put into that category, even though he may not really be from law enforcement, but kind of similar capacity as well. So with all those, you can see there are different aspects, different areas, because security is a big field, big topic. And obviously, we don't have a panel member here, say from a service provider's perspective. That is also quite important. Here there are ISPs, here there are network operators, and so on. So that's another important aspect. So like this, and then of course financial sector like banks and so on, financial institutions. So all these areas, all these industry segments are very important from a security point of view. But let us actually now, because now we are focusing Sri Lanka here, we are focusing the national matters here as well, because within here in Sri Lanka. So let us try to focus a little bit on to the cybersecurity from a national perspective. So what are the key things? So I would say there are the key critical infrastructures that we should think about. Say, for example, obviously things like even CCTLD infrastructure. Say, for example, now Sashika was from .lk registry. So registry or the .lk type of infrastructure, these are very critical infrastructures. And then it is very important for us to consider those aspects. And then, of course, the defense related or that area as well. That's another area. So let's actually direct a question from our panel member from the Defense Ministry. So how do you see so far? What do you think? Like at the moment, do we have enough measures that have been taken care of so far, or do you see that we need to work more on this area? Do we have to have a lot of improvements?
Actually, when we discuss about our system within the country, we don't have proper system to protect our all the data and the information. In that, we identified some barriers. The first thing is we don't have trained person, trained people to operate this system. That is the first thing. And other thing, it is very common, and anyone can have access sometimes. Even though we use some different method, there are some loose areas where others can get access. And other important thing is the our defense system. We don't have link each other. That is the another problem we face. If we can find some proper system which used by the superpower countries, they have link with each organization and with the government system also, and they have trained people and they have proper secure system. If we can apply those to our organization also, we can achieve our mission up to some extent in initial stage, and later on, after that, we have to find next step.
Okay, yeah, thank you. And so the key important messages, of course, would be the systems, right? Well, secure systems. I'm sure. I mean, there must be work going on around these areas, and so the support personnel, the expertise, the skills. So these are all important things from that perspective. Now, Sagarika, now turning on to you. So you mentioned about the women and children. So I think probably yesterday also there were a lot of information or thoughts shared by the youth members, right? And also there were various thoughts shared on social media, for example, how they communicate and what sort of privacy issues or how people share information and so on. So do you see, Sagarika, like, do we have enough measures, or do we have or at least have we created enough awareness here in Sri Lanka, especially with the ISOC LK programs that you conduct?
Yes, up to certain extent, I guess we did some programs and we achieved the results. So, but that is not enough. My feeling is that's not enough, because from home, even from home, like in Sri Lankan households, 60% of the houses, they might be having at least P3 PC at least. But the thing is, they never know how to do the computer housekeeping, right? So they just sit on their computers and start typing or browsing internet. But there are things like computer housekeeping, how to protect your computer from the viruses, how to safeguard your files, and how to put a privacy like security uh, credentials in your computers. Those things will not be considered from the grassroots level.
Hello.
So what I feel
Hello.
is, before we educate them on how to surf on the internet, first of all, we have to educate them how to safeguard your computer from the grassroots level, how to do this computer housekeeping. So then, if you know that, then everybody must be considering whenever you are surfing on the internet. So you will be having the alarms on in your mind. So I have to safeguard my computer by preventing viruses to attack my computer. So those things should be we have to make aware people on those aspects. So we cannot blame each other like the guys are harassing women are harassing guys like that. But it's our own duty. So that should be there.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Sagarika. So let us also try to actually now we have two areas here, right? So we are talking about two areas. One is, of course, the security aspect, which is the cybersecurity aspect, and then the safety aspect or safer internet, that is aspect. So let's try to focus on to one thing, say the cybersecurity aspect. Now, from a cybersecurity aspect, there are, of course, say, let's talk about corporate, so financial sector, the enterprises. The critical things are, okay, how well are you running your infrastructure, the networks, right? Or the servers, the applications, all those things. There are a whole lot within that. Say, for example, do you have proper organizational security policies? Take a very, very simple thing. Say, for example, email, right? How many of your organizations do you have a proper email policy? Say, when a new staff join, how do you create an email ID? Like, say, the passwords. How often do the users change their passwords? Or do you have a password policy for the emails? I'm just taking email as an example. The same thing should apply for things like applications, right? And also in some organizations, they may be giving sort of common access to every staff. So without irrespective their roles, maybe the CEO or even maybe the managers or even the staff, if they all get the same sort of level access, that is not pretty much a best practice. So do you have that kind of authorization levels within, when you create or when you give access to various systems, various applications, and so on? So do you follow these things? So that is why actually you can build all these things into a proper organizational security policy. So I would say one very important key thing is actually, takeaway, I would say, to have a security policy in your organization, right? Now, this is also very important when handling incidences, because when something happens, say if something goes wrong, say if there is a DDoS attack on your website or web server, because for some organizations, the web server, the website can be very critical, right? Depending on your organization. Say, for example, for a bank, the website can be very critical in comparison to a website where you have more static type of information, where you more informational type website, right? So obviously the needs are different. So from that perspective, say you are from a bank, or say you are from a government agency or government body department, which is sort of critical, where you offer a lot of services to the general public. So in case if your website goes down, or if there is an attack, how are you going to handle it, right? Because if you can't keep your website down, say for even 1 hour, if there are users coming in to do online transactions, or if they are coming to do some various services, you have to get the thing sorted out quickly, right? So this is why these policies are very important. Everything has to be in place. So incident handling is one very important thing. So I would say even in every organization level, even though you may not need to have a very large team, at least having one person to have or to handle incidences is very important. Now, from a bigger perspective, say from a national or from a business perspective, going into incident handling, now we have two experts here. Obviously, let's talk to Kushan here, especially from TechCert perspective, because as we know, TechCert, that's a CERT, a cyber response team. They run a cyber response or cyber incident response team. So from a CERT perspective, do you have some advices that you should give to the listeners here? Now, I know that you have some presentation slides. Let us try to actually focus on key things without really going into presentations or anything. But do you have some key points that you can talk about?
Yes, Champika. The question is, so during a kind of cybersecurity incidents, how we can react, what would be the actions that we could take to safeguard our systems, and how can we be proactive against cyber attacks. Yes, that's the question. So in terms of the, if you are talking about the CERT operations, what we have been providing services to the mainly the private sector organizations and the even government sector organizations. And just to mention about explain you what is a CERT actually. CERT is a computer emergency response teams where if there is a cybersecurity incident, so our responsibility is to come and help the our customer base, and there are another, we are from tech cert, and there is another cert that is SL cert. So they are mostly focusing on general public and government organizations. They also will help you during this kind of incidents. Those are about the cert functions. So we have been for the last more than 10 years from the inception of our cert. So we have been getting many requests, the incident handling requests from various organizations. So currently we have seen there's a huge increase in cybersecurity incidents in our region, actually South Asia, and especially in Sri Lanka. At the very let's say if you are going back in 2010 2011, there's no, when you say cybersecurity incident, no security related activity, so the general public and the organization were not that aware of. Now they have hugely invested. Still there are many reported cybersecurity incidents. Very recently also you might have heard through news channels and various other means about WannaCry ransomware. So when you say ransomware, it is about like in the physical domain where you go and kidnap a person, request a ransom to release the person. The same thing will be happen in the cybersecurity domain, where so attackers will come to your computer, convert the valuable files within your computer to a different format, and they will request a ransom, kind of a financial amount, to release the files which cannot be read. So that is kind of a cybersecurity incidents. How can you be protected against this kind of a scenario? So one thing, so you might have heard about this application vendor security, they release security patches actually. So for this main reason for the latest cybersecurity incident is about not updating security patches within your IT infrastructure. Let's say for a Windows operating system or a Linux operating system or Ubuntu or any other operating system. So if you don't have updated the security patches, so what is a security patch actually? A security patch is about so these softwares are being developed by humans actually. They do mistakes while they are developing. Depending on their capabilities, they will maybe develop highly secure software. Maybe sometimes there will be bugs actually. These bugs are discovered by the various attackers actually, hackers, we call hackers. So they use these loopholes to get into the systems. So once this kind of a loophole is discovered, we call it as zero day actually. So until the actual, let's say that is it belongs to a Microsoft Windows 2008 2012 server, or maybe the most familiar operating system would be for you guys to Microsoft Windows 10 actually. So if there is a security loophole within such a system, they will release a security patch that is a fix actually, fix to the identified bug. So then as the best practice to avoid that kind of a cyber attack is to update such a update your system with this kind of patches. Install the patches to your system. If you are not if you are not up to date with the latest patches, so for the very recent attack, the Microsoft released a security patch on March actually, in mid of March, and but by the time we are going to heard the attack, so majority of the organization haven't updated the patch. So that's why there's a threat actually. So if you guys can keep your system up to date with this kind of patches, so then the possibility, I mean the likelihood of such attack can be minimized. So that is one recommendation when it comes to incident handling. So that is about be proactive actually. So other recommendation would be about incident to be proactive against cybersecurity incident is So because you use your personal computers, you have your organization own computers, so you will have valuable data within those computers. Just to ask a question, how many of you have taken a backup of these data for maybe last 2 weeks? Yes, only very few actually. How about the others? Assuming that the same ransomware came into your computer, and your computer, it was hit by the attack, the ransomware was installed and the files were encrypted to a different format. Now you cannot read it. But within your personal computers, you will have your photos, documents, and whatever the thesis you might have written, and so many assignments and many valuable documents. But you don't have a way of recovering them. So they request around $300 to re-give you the files, actually encrypted files, decrypt the files. So, but if you don't have a backup, you have to make two decisions. Either you have to pay the ransom, but that doesn't guarantee that you will get the back actually infected files. The second decision would be to live with the loss section. So what are you going to select? So it depends on the criticality or the importance of the files. So that is the second aspect, is to take in backups of the whatever the available files. And the third proactive mechanisms that you can take against this kind of cybersecurity attacks, maybe to prevent incident, is about be vigilant and use your common sense careful. Like for example, so you might have heard about the phishing attacks. So hope you have heard. That is about for like, just to tell you example, you will get an email saying that you have won a lottery. Maybe your account is not up to date, or maybe there's a kind of a revamp or upgrade on your online banking account. Just click this link and go to a given website, enter your credentials or something like that. Or even you will receive a attachment with the zip file, or maybe PDF file, or else about with the document macro files, Word document with docm extensions, you will receive such files. So you will click it without thinking too much about the validity of the email and about the sender of the email. You will click it and maybe you will open the file. But so that actually that attachment contain a malware. Whenever you open the file, it will be installed to your computer. So then your computer will be infected with the virus or a malware. Maybe it can be a ransomware or different form of malware. So then if you have the from the very first from the at least the very first stage, if you have used your common sense to check who is the sender of the email, and is this a valid attachment, is it actually intended to you, or if you the content of the email, it is a valid genuine email. So you can figure out with your common sense, you can figure out whether that is a genuine request, or if it is a suspicious, you can even go and ask your IT administrator or the security guy of your organizations to go and have a look into this email and get his okay to open it if there's a real requirement. So that is the third aspect to avoid this kind of incident. Actually, these are three golden rules, actually, I believe. Without this kind of knowledge, many organizations, they are facing so much of phishing attacks, these kind of ransomware attacks, and various different format of cyber attacks targeting the business users of the organization. Even to explain more about the fourth step, about the applications you have been running within your organization, or let's say your website. So if you are developing a website, if you haven't used the proper secure best coding practices while developing the website, so it will create a loophole for the attackers to get into your website. For, let's say, for example, SQL injection attack or something like the possibility to upload files. The attacker will get the opportunity to upload the shell script to the website. So they will get access to the website, so they will deface the website. So it will tarnish your organizational reputation if the website is with different bogus content. So even if we, so if it is a SQL injection attack, if the attacker can get the database dump, so then you have allowed the attacker to get the confidential information to belong to your organization, and it will be published on website like Facebook or some other publicly available content sharing website. So that is you have allowed, that is you have followed insecure practices in developing source code applications, and you have not maintained the software with best practices. So that is four, I would say, four golden rules you can follow in terms of avoiding cyber attacks. And so me, even just to end my discussion for the time being. So I would say just a want to remind you, we have seen only, let's say, so large pool of ocean internet. We say the good side of internet is what we let's say like a floating iceberg. There's a huge part underground the water level we cannot see it. So only a small part it is on top of the water where we can see it. So the similar concept is applied to the internet also. We only see a very few amount of things are happening around the internet, but there's a huge dark world within the internet where there are so many things are happening, which enables attackers and the whoever who wants to take the advantage of this invisible space of internet to take various forms of actions. So whenever you do any activity on the internet as to safeguard about cybersecurity incidents, you have to follow these rules to prevent possible cyber attacks. Thank you.
Yes. Thanks, Kushan. So I think just to summarize, so he went through lots of attack types, right? So he talked about phishing attacks, he talked about SQL injections and various other forms of ransomware and so on. So bottom line is that you need to understand there are various type of attacks, right? It's not just one thing. So patching your system for something only, say focusing only one thing is not enough. So there are various different types of attacks can come in. So that is why you have to look at from a bigger perspective, not just something very narrow, right? So that's something very important. Now, by the way, we'll also give some time for the audience to share some thoughts, ask questions, and so on. So initially, we are just trying to actually cover in general for different segment, different industry sectors, and so on. What are the common areas that are affecting their operations and so on. So I was told that we have our remote presenter is ready now. So just to clarify, has he been following the discussion so far?
Actually, yes. His audio is down. So the technical problem with his side. So he has commented some his thoughts. So I will read it out for the audience.
Okay.
He is Shreedeep Rayamajhi from Nepal. He works with the Ray News, and also he runs the Learn IG program. So his comment is, we need to develop the basic core values of internet and make the young people understand the importance of how internet can be used. Restriction is not an option. We have to develop the core values in terms of making them understand. Regarding the policy of internet itself is very dynamic and is changing, and safe internet is just a concept of being right and doing the right thing. Safe internet for me is not just having an update, antivirus, and system, but it is more of a process of talking about issues and problems, making it a more friendly environment of sharing and collaborating in terms of spreading awareness. We are working in Nepal with Learn IG, where we host common forum with multi-stakeholder concept and exchange information, which helps them to understand the relativity of understanding their minds stand. Safer internet works by the rule of collaboration. It is not a formula, but it is an overall evolving process of internet ecosystem where the internet is growing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Thank you.
one comment from my side.
Yeah.
There are some people from Anuradhapura and Padaviya, and also from Monaragala, so various people. So digital divide is still here in this internet governance forum. We have to address these people. Can you explain a little bit in Sinhala for our Tamil? The Tamil people we can translate. We have Siam here.
Okay.
So please.
Yes. Yeah, thanks Mahi. Okay, දැන් සිංහලෙන් කතා කරොත් එහෙම අපි දැන් මේ වෙනකන් කතා කරේ ඇත්තටම දැන් මේ පැනල් එකේ ටොපික් එක වෙන්නේ අන්තර්ජාලයේ තියෙන security පැත්ත ගැනයි කොහොමද අපි ඒ සම්බන්ධව අපේ systems applications ඒවා දේවල් ආරක්ෂා කරගන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එකයි ගැන සම්බන්ධව තමයි මේ දක්වා අපි කතා වුනේ. දැන් අපි බැලුවොත් එහෙම දැන් මුළු කමියුනිටියක් විදිහටම බැලුවොත් එහෙම ඒ කියන්නේ හැමෝම එකතු කරලා බැලුවොත් එහෙම එක එක අංශවල ආරක්ෂාව ගැන හිතුවොත් එක එක දේවල් අපිට මේ සලකලා බලන්න වෙනවා. විශේෂයෙන් අපි හිතුවොත් එහෙම දැන් ජාතික මට්ටමින් බැලුවොත් එහෙම අපි ඒවට කියන්නේ critical infrastructures කියලා ඒ කියන්නේ national infrastructures ඒ කියන්නේ උදාහරණයක් විදිහට ගත්තොත් එහෙම දැන් LK registry එක ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඒක රට සම්බන්ධව affect වෙන දෙයක්. ඒ වගේම එතකොට අපි තව බැලුවොත් එහෙම දැන් රටේ තියෙන බැංකු ගත්තොත් එහෙම නැත්නම් රජයේ ආයතන ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඒ වගේ එක එක ආයතන පැත්තෙන් ගත්තත් ඒ අයට සම්බන්ධව ඒ දේවල් ගොඩක් වැදගත්. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ data ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ run වෙන servers web servers ඊට පස්සේ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ run වෙන services මොන වගේ services offer කරන්නේ ඒ වගේ දේවල් ගොඩක් වැදගත්. එතකොට ඒ වගේම අපි බැංකු පැත්තෙන් එහෙම නැත්නම් ඒ ෆයිනෑන්ෂල් පැත්තෙන් ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඒ වගේ ඒ අයගෙත් වැදගත් අංශ තියෙනවා ඒගොල්ලන්ට ආරක්ෂා කරගත යුතු දේවල්. ඒ වගේම දැන් හැම පැත්තක් ගැනම බැලුවොත් එහෙම ඒ අයට අදාළ ගොඩක් සම්බන්ධ දේවල් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒ සම්බන්ධව තමයි අපි මේ දක්වා කතා කරේ කොහොමද මොනවද ඒ අයට අදාළ දේවල් ඒ වගේම ගොඩක් වැදගත්ම දෙයක් තමයි යම් කිසි දෙයක් වුණොත් එහෙම ඒ කියන්නේ අපි හිතමු ඇටැක් එකක් ආවා කියලා හදිස්සියේ වෙබ්සයිට් එකක් ඩවුන් වුණා කියලා එහෙම දෙයක් වුණොත් එහෙම කොහොමද ඊට පස්සේ මේ අපි ඒක මේ හැන්ඩල් කරන්නේ ඒ කියන්නේ වෙබ්සයිට් එක ඩවුන් වුණොත් එහෙම කොහොමද අපි ඒක රිකවර් කරන්නේ ඒ කියන්නේ availability කියන එක හරි ඉම්පෝටන්ට් දෙයක්. ඉතින් ඒ ගැනත් අපි කතා කරා. ඒ හින්දා තමයි ලංකාවේ තියෙනවා සර්ට් ආයතන දෙකක් තියෙනවා. එකක් තමයි ජාතික සර්ට් ආයතනය SL සර්ට් කියන එක. ඒ වගේම අනිත් එක තමයි ටෙක් සර්ට් කියන එක. ඉතින් දැන් අපි අපේ පැනල් එකේ ඉන්නවා ටෙක් සර්ට් ආයතනය සම්බන්ධව විශේෂඥයෝ දෙන්නෙක් ඉන්නවා. ඒගොල්ලෝ දැනුවත් කරා කොහොමද ඒ සම්බන්ධව කොහොමද මොන වගේ දේවල්ද කරන්න ඕන මොන වගේ attack types එන්න පුළුවන්ද ඒ වගේ දේවල් ගැනත් අපි කතා කරා. මේ දක්වා ඒ සම්බන්ධ දේවල් තමයි අපි කතා කරමින් පවතින්නේ. මම හිතන්නේ Siam, you can give a little translation on that.
எல்லோருக்கும் வணக்கம். இதுவரையில் இவர்கள் இங்கே கதைத்த விடயங்கள் என்னவென்றால் சில விடயங்கள் இருக்குது உங்களுக்கு பிரத்யேகமாக பிரைவேட்லி உங்களுக்கு மட்டும் தேவையானது இருக்குது. சில இருக்குது நாங்கள் நாடளாவிய ரீதியில் உள்ள தேவைகள். உதாரணமாக எடுத்தால் இப்போ எல்கே டொமைன் எடுத்தால் எங்களோட நாடு சம்பந்தமான பிரச்சனை யாராவது எல்கே டொமைனுக்கு அட்டாக் பண்ணி அது சம்பந்தமான ஏதாவது தகவல்கள் எடுத்துட்டாங்கன்னா எங்களோட நாட்டில் உள்ள எல்லாரும் அதிகமான மக்கள் அந்த டொமைன் வைத்தவர்கள் அவருடைய பேர் தகவல்களும் போயிடும். அதே மாதிரி பிரத்யேகமாக எடுத்தீங்கன்னா நீங்கள் உங்களோட மெஷின் அல்லது உங்களோட டேட்டா உங்கள் சம்பந்தமான தகவல்கள் எது அட்டாக் பண்ணி ஏதாவது யார் எடுத்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு நீங்கள் என்ன மாதிரி நடவடிக்கை எடுக்கிறது. அப்போ நாடளாவியில் எதுவும் பிரச்சனைகள் நடந்தால் அவங்க எந்த மாதிரி அதுகளுக்கான முடிவுகள் எடுக்கிறது எந்த மாதிரி அவங்க சப்போர்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க. டெக் சைட்ல இங்கே இருக்கிறாங்க, அதே மாதிரி SL சைட்ல இருக்கிறாங்க, ஆர்மியில போலீஸ்ல இது மாதிரி நிறைய துறைசார் நிபுணர்கள் இருக்கிறாங்க. இந்த ஒவ்வொரு நிபுணர்களும் அவங்க இது சம்பந்தமாக என்னென்ன ப்ரிகாஷன்ஸ் அதாவது இப்படி ஒரு அட்டாக் வந்து என்ன செய்யலாம்ன்றது. அதே மாதிரி பிரத்யேகமாக உங்களுக்கு தனிப்பட்ட முறையில உங்களோட தகவல்கள் அது அவங்களோட வெப்சைட்டாக இருக்கலாம் அல்லது உங்களோட இமெயிலாக இருக்கலாம் அல்லது உங்களோட பிரத்யேக ஏதாவது டேட்டாவா இருக்கலாம். உங்களோட மெஷின்ஸுக்கு வைரஸ் அட்டாக்கோ யாரோ ஹேக்கர்ஸ் யாராவது அட்டாக் பண்ணினாங்கன்னா அந்த தகவல்கள் உங்களுக்கு மிக முக்கியமான இன்ஃபர்மேஷன்ஸ். இதை நீங்க இதை எப்படி ரிகவர் பண்றது, எப்படி ரிகவர் பாயிண்ட் எடுக்கிறது, பேக்கப்ஸ் எடுத்துக்கிறது, அதிகமான முறையில இஷ்யூஸ் வருது, இதுங்கள் எல்லாத்தையும் எப்படி ஷார்ட் அவுட் பண்ணணும், என்ன மாதிரி செய்யலும் அதுகளுக்காக வேண்டிய விஷயங்களை தான் இங்க கதைச்சாங்க சாராம்சமாக. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. Okay, so thanks so much for the contribution so far, and also thanks for Shreedeep for sharing that information remotely, even though your audio is down. Few things actually I want to take from the discussion so far. Actually, now few points that also Kushan stressed on. The communication aspect. Say, for example, nowadays something we always use email, right? And then sharing information and so on, right? So let's think about email, because it's a common people discuss and so on. How many of you actually think of securing your emails? Do you do that at the moment? There are, of course, various security mechanisms in terms of securing email. Now, as a goal, right, talking about security as a goal, confidentiality is one important factor, right? So there are a few objectives. Confidentiality is one of them, very important. So that means if I send you something, say from source to the destination, in case if someone in the middle managed to see that information, the confidentiality is lost. So when we send our emails, always, if some middle party, right? Obviously, say from Sri Lankan perspective, there are lots of emails. I mean, I've heard about various stories about, say, there are lots of importers, exporters, overseas exporters, local importers. When they share all these email communications, the exporter would say that deposit the money to their account, and then some importers have deposited their money, and then it has gone to some wrong bank accounts, and so on. So basically, there has been some email tampering happening, right? So in such situation, the the confidentiality of email is also very important, right? So how many of you take measures? Say, for example, things like encrypting emails. So if you want to send some confidential content, how many of you encrypt your emails? Because it's a security mechanism. If you want to send some confidential content, make sure you encrypt your emails, right? I'm just telling you, I'm not asking who is doing that, but think these things. Another important thing, in fact, actually, Kushan was saying, is the right person sending this? Maybe you might believe that I'm sending you the email, right? But how do you make sure that it's really me? Or if you send an email to me, how do you really know whether I'm really getting the correct email from you, right? Are you the right party? So this is where you have to sign your emails. So at least, signing emails we should do all the time, right? So that we know exactly we are getting the email from the right parties. So even all these public domain email IDs, or even if you're running your own email servers and so on, we can implement those things, right? So if you are an organization, if you are a corporate, if you are even government and so on, so think about deploying or making sure that these kind of security mechanisms are being followed as well, right? So just something on that. Also, he talked about malware, right? So which is obvious nowadays. There are lots of malware. Malware means actually a malicious software. There are things like ransomwares and so on. So by visiting those sort of websites, we can download various pieces of softwares into our devices. So if maybe you might get a nice email from someone. So you might click the email, go to a website, and then you might view the things nicely, but then maybe some malware might get downloaded into your device or into your systems. Because nowadays, especially, when we even use lots of mobile apps and so on, we don't really look at the things. You just open the app, you just click on the app. So you really don't know what's really happening, right? So it might download some malware into your device, and then it can get installed. So if depending on the different types of malware, it can do lots of changes to your device, to your system. It might change your server, say the DNS server settings, or it might even change some other system parameters and so on. So these things can be very critical. So be careful always. Don't click links. I would say, don't click links. If you're not sure about some link, at least there are some reliable tools, reliable websites available to check whether these websites are malware infected, right? So you can copy the link and put it there and check whether there is some malware infected, and then you can see or even there are some tools where you can get a rating, how much rating that these websites are reliable. So there are various ways you can do that before even just go and clicking those links and going to various websites and so on, right? So these are all some good practices, especially from users point of view, right? From users point of view. So let us now actually I was just trying to actually give you some examples and try to summarize these things what the presenters spoke about. You have a speaker? Oh, okay. All right. So yeah. So I'll allow actually, because we still have our session till 12:30, so we have a bit of time. So I just want to actually give some opportunity for you as well. But before we go further, let us quickly share with Sagarika. Now let's try to hear from Sagarika, focusing the young people, say the youth, right? So now mostly we were addressing to corporates, organizations, talking about incident responses and so on. But young people really don't care much about all those, right? So what sort of advice that you can give them?
So let me ask a question from the audience, the young faces. Yeah. What is the when I ask you what is internet, what is your answer? So anyone? So with my experience, I'm telling you, we did the training for the remote areas. So when I ask him from them, have you heard about internet or have you surfed on the internet? They say, no, miss, we didn't. And then I'm asking whether you have Facebook. Then almost everybody is raising their hands. Yes, we have Facebooks. Then I'm asking, what is internet? No, we don't know about the internet, but we have Facebooks. So that was the answer. So in reality, so people who are using internet, they don't know what is internet, especially the young generation. So with the emerging trend of the smartphone usage, so most of the people are using internet through their smartphones and they don't know how to surf internet safely and they don't know what is internet. So with my experience and what I feel is we have to educate those people. Internet is not a Facebook. So there are so many things. So internet is not only an entertainment tool. So internet is an educational tool. It has bad sides as well as good sides. So you have to use internet for your benefit or your welfare, not to drive you crazy or not to get addicted onto that. So I know some young people, when we are delivering the lectures, so we are shouting hard and we were trying to put something into their mind. But unfortunately, they were using their smartphones, they were browsing Facebook. So when we asked the questions, they were just blank and point blankly looking at us, and nothing goes into their mind because we are doing a big mistake these days as an academics, because we provide all the PowerPoint slides. So they think, why are we bothering to listening to these people? So everything is inside that PowerPoint. So later on we can get back and we will be parroting that and exams will be in the same topics. So that is a mistake we did. But as a teacher, I'm not practicing that one. I will just put a bit of a note on the PowerPoints, rest they have to find. So we have to practice that. So we are losing the innovative generation because of the bad practices and less of awareness of the usage of the internet. So that is why we are supposed to educate these people on how to surf internet usefully to empower their lives.
Okay. Yes. Thanks, Sagarika. It's good. So now we have had some discussion for about half of the time that we have. So we have about now half an hour left. So let us try to open up to the audience. Now you can ask questions, or if you have some comments, feel free to share as well. Or you can even, if you have any specific question to any panel member, feel free to direct the panel member as well. So we have a raise of hand there. Maybe let's take that question.
Champika, excuse me.
Oh, sorry, he was there already.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
please go ahead. Yes.
Officer. සිංහලෙන් කතා කරන්නේ. මේ මෙතනට ආපු එක ගොඩක් සන්තෝෂයි. වැදගත් මාතෘකාවක් ගොඩක් කතා වුණා. ඒකේ මේ මහත්මයා කියපු දේ කියන්නේ ඉන්ටර්නෙට් සිකියුරිටි ගැන. කිව්වොත් එහෙම දැන් අප්ඩේට් සිස්ටම් F5 sender verifications increase internet security. මට හොඳටම මතකයි මම ජාතික පොලිස් කමිෂන් සභාවට ආපු වෙලාවේ අපේ වෙබ් එක හැක් කරා. ඒ කියන්නේ 2008 විතර. ඒ වෙලාවේ අපේ ඇතුලේ වෙබ්සයිට් එකට ගිහිල්ලා වචන දෙකක් වෙනස් කරා. low binding කියන එකට low binding කියලා වෙනස් කරා. එතකොට ඒ වගේ දෙයකට වුණාම ඇත්තටම ඒ කාලේ අපිට කරගන්න දෙයක් තිබුණේ නැහැ මොනවද? තිබුණේ නැහැ. ඊට පස්සේ සෙට් එකට කතා කරලා කිව්වා පොලිසියෙත් තියෙන CID එකේ බ්‍රාන්ච් එකක් සයිබර් ක්‍රයිම් දැන්ටත් කතා කරා. එතකොට කිව්වා අපිට මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් මේ කාලේ පහුවෙලා තියෙන්නේ ඒකෙන්ද කරගන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. මේ මම හිතන්නේ තාක්ෂණය දැන් ඊට වැඩි දියුණු වෙනවා. දැන් මම කියන්නේ දැන් ඒ වගේ වෙලාවට මොකද්ද කරන්නේ ඇඩ්මිනිස්ට්‍රේටර්? ඒගොල්ලන්ට කොහොමද මේක මේ මෙසේජ් එක එන්නේ? මොනවද මේ වෙලාවට කරන්නේ? ඒක දැනුවත් වීම හරි අඩුයි. මොකද මම ඒ තත්ත්වයේ මුණ දුන්නා. එතකොට මොනවද මේකට ගන්න ඕන මේ දැන් මෙතන කතා නෙවෙයි දැන් අපි හැමෝම ගන්න උදාහරණයක් විදිහට වෛරස් ගන්න. අපි මම අපේ ඔෆිස් එකට අරගෙන ඒකේදී ඔය රැන්සම්වෙයාර් ගැන මොනවද කතා කරන්නේ? ඒකට එන්න ඕන ස්පෙක්ස්. වෛරස් ගාඩ් එකකට එන්න ඕන ස්පෙක් එක. මොකද්ද තීරණය කරන්නේ? ඒවා කවුද ඩිසයිඩ් කරන්නේ? අපි එහෙ වගේ එකක් වුණාම කාටද කතා කරන්න ඕන? දැන් මම IT කරලා තියුණා වුණාට මේක වෛද්‍ය මට ලොකු නෝලෙජ් එකක් නැහැ. මේ වගේ තැනකට වුණාම මම කාටද කතා කරන්න ඕන? අනිත් වගේ දේවල් කතා කරන්න මම කොහෙද සම්බන්ධ වෙන්න ඕන ආයතන? දැන් මම කොහොම හරි ඒක ICT එකට කතා දැන් අද මට ඕන වුණා වෙබ් එකක TOR එකක් හදන්න. ICT එකට කතා කරලා භාග්‍යමිෂ්ට කතා කරලා මම මේක ගත්තා. ඉතින් දැන් මේ වගේ නොදන්න මිනිස්සු ඉන්නවා නම් මේක අපි පහලට එන්න ඕන. ඒක එන්න ඕන. ඊළඟට මේ සේෆර් ඉන්ටර්නෙට්. අද Facebook එකේ ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඕන කෙනෙකුට වැරදි නික්කයක් දාලා ඕන තරම් IDs හදන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකම ඒකෙන් ළමා අපචාර ඕන තරම් වෙනවා. සයිබර් උදාහරණයක් ඇරෙන්න ගත්තොත් Skype එකේ. කාගේ හරි නමක් දීලා වෙන එකක් තියා ෆෝන් කෝල් එකේ රීලෝඩ් එකට මිනිස්සු ඇවිල්ලා මේ පාවිච්චි කරන මේක. ඒව කොහොමද අඩු කරන්නේ? ඒකට කොහොමද මිනිස්සුන්ට කොහොමද ෆේක් account හදන්න නැතුව මේවා කරන්නේ? අපේ ළමයි මටත් දూరు දෙන්නෙක් ඉන්නවා. බැරි වෙලා හරි මේ ගිහලා ඉවරලා මේවා වුණොත් මේ ළමයින්ට මොකද වෙන්නේ? අපි අන්න ඒවා මේ ෆේක් accounts වලින් මිනිස්සු ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එක පාවිච්චි කරන එක සම්පූර්ණයෙන් නවත්තන්න ඕන මොන හරි ක්‍රමයකින්. මට ඒකට ක්‍රමවේද හොයාගන්න බෑ. නමුත් ඒක නවත්තන්න ඕන මොකද මම ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එකේ කෙමින් දොර බේරුවා. අදටත් මගේ මේ Google එකේ ගහුවොත් මගේ එනවා identity ඉස්සර. ඒ වගේ Tamanගේ identity Tamanට තියෙන්න ඕන. නැත්නම් ඒක වැඩක් නැහැ. මේ fake account වලින් මිනිස්සුන්ට ගොඩක් harass වෙනවා. බොහොම
Okay, thank you. Ziam, can you actually translate that to Tamil?
அவருடைய கேள்வி என்னன்னா இப்ப நிறைய பேர் நாங்க கம்ப்யூட்டர்ஸ் பாவிக்கிறோம். எங்களுக்கு ஏதாவது ஒரு இன்சிடென்ட் நடந்தா அந்த இன்சிடென்ட்டை நாங்க யாருக்கு போய் கம்ப்ளைண்ட் பண்ணுவது, அடுத்த கட்ட நடவடிக்கைகளாக நாங்க என்ன செய்யணும்? அவருக்கு நிறைய சொல்றாரு, எனக்கு நிறைய இடங்கள் நிறைய ஆட்களை தெரியும், அதனால நான் அவங்களுக்கு போய் நான் இன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணி அதுக்குள்ள தேவையான விதிகளை நான் செய்துக்கிட்டேன். ஆனா இதுக்கு நிறைய இடங்கள் இங்க இருக்குன்றீங்க, நாங்க யாரோட பேரு சம்பந்தப்படணும், யாருக்கிட்ட இந்த கேள்வி கேட்டு எங்களுக்கு பதில் கிடைக்கும் தான் அவருடைய கேள்வி.
Okay, yeah. දැන් ඇත්තටම මම සිංහලෙන්ම උත්තර දුන්නොත් දැන් ඔය ඇත්ත ඔයා දැන් කියපුවා සේරම හරි. හරි ඒව තමයි දැන් මේ වෙනකන් අපි කතා කරමින් පවතින්නේ කොහොමද දැන් මොනවද කරන්න ඕන කින්දමන්ද කියන එක. ඉතින් අපේ පැත්තෙන් බැලුවොත් එහෙම එකක් තමයි දැන් යමක් වුණොත් දැන් ඔයා කිව්වනේ ඉස්සෙල්ලා මොනවා හරි වෙබ්සයිට් එක ඩවුන් වුණා. හරි. එතකොට මොකද්ද ඉන්සිඩන්ට් රෙස්පොන්සින් පැත්ත. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි ඉස්සෙල්ලා කතා කරේ යමක් වුණොත් අපි කොහොමද හැන්ඩල් කරන්නේ. හරි? ඒක හරියම ඉම්පෝටන්ට්. ඉතින් මොකද සිකියුරිටි ගැන කතා කරනවා හරි. අපි ඒවා අපේ සිස්ටම් සිකියෝ කරනවා, අපේ සිස්ටම්ස් අපි බලා ගන්නවා, ඒක සේරම හරි. බට් අපිට කියන්න බෑනේ මොනවා කරත් වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා අපිට කියන්න බෑ. වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හරි? පොඩි percentage එකක් හරි දෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒතොර එහෙම දෙයක් වුණොතින් ඊළඟ ස්ටෙප් එක මොකද්ද? අපිට දැන් පැනික් වෙලා එහෙම දුවන්න බෑනේ. හරි? ඒතොර එහෙම වුණොත් මොනවද වෙන්නේ කියන එක ප්ලෑන් කරන්න වෙනවා අපි හැමෝටම. හරි? මොකක් හරි දෙයක් වුණොත් කොහොමද ප්ලෑන් කරන්නේ? ඒ ඉන්සිඩන්ට් හැන්ඩලින් කියන එක. ඒ ඉන්සිඩන්ට් හැන්ඩලින් වල හැමතිස්සෙම සර්ට් එකටම යන්න කියනවා නෙමෙයි. තමන්ගේ පැත්තෙන් මොනවද කරන්න ඕන කියන එක අපි ප්ලෑන් කරගන්න වෙනවා. එතකොට ඒක හරි ඉම්පෝටන්ට්. අනිත් එක තමයි දැන් ඔයා කියපු කතාවක් තමයි අපි වෛරස් ගාඩ් දාලා තියෙනවා අර මේ කියන එක. දැන් වෛරස් ගාඩ්ස් උනත් හැම මොන ඒ වගේ මොන දෙයක් දැම්ම වුණත් software එකක් දැම්ම වුණත් හරි source එකකින් ගන්න එකක් වෙන්න ඕන ඒක. free download එකක් හරි එහෙම නැත්නම් ගත්ත pirated copy එකක් හරි ඒ වගේ දේවල් කවදාවත් කරන්න එපා. හරි සෝස් එකකින් ගත්ත දෙයක් වෙන්න ඕන. අනිත් එක යමක් ඩවුන්ලෝඩ් කරා වුණත් චෙක් කරන්න. ඇත්තටම ඒ තිබිච්ච දේද තමන්ගේ සිස්ටම් එකේ ඩවුන්ලෝඩ් උනේ කියන එක. ඒකත් හරි වැදගත්. ඉතින් ඒවට අර චෙක් සම්ස් චෙක් කරන්න පුළුවන් එහෙම අපිට ඕන තරම් අවස්ථා තියෙනවා. එහෙම චෙක් සම් එක ගන්නවා චෙක් කරගන්න පුළුවන් හරියටම මේ අපි ඩවුන්ලෝඩ් කරේ හරි දේද කියලා. නැත්නම් සමහරවල් ඒක වැරදි දෙයක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් අපි ඩවුන්ලෝඩ් කරන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒ හින්දා ඒ වෛරස් හරි ඕනම දෙයක් වුණත් හරි පරිස්සමෙන් ඕන අපි පාවිච්චි කරන software එක මොකක්ද ඇප්ලිකේෂන් එක මොකක්ද කියන එක උනත් බලා ගන්න. අනිත් දේ තමයි අපි හිතමුකෝ දැන් ඒ කියන්නේ ඒ වගේ දේවල් වලින් පොඩ උඩට යමුකෝ අපි ඇප්ලිකේෂන්ස් ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ වෙන මොනවා හරි දැන් ඕගනයිසේෂන් එක හරි ආයතනයක හරි ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ පේරෝල් එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් මොනවා හරි ඇප්ලිකේෂන් එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් ආයතනයේ පාවිච්චි කරන. ඒතොර ඒ වගේ දෙයක් ගනිද්දි මිල්ලට ගනිද්දි මොන වගේ ක්‍රමවේදයක්ද පාවිච්චි කරන්න. ඒකට යම්කිසි ආයතනයේ පොලිසි එකක් තියෙනවාද? මොන මේ අපි මේ තනින් මේ software එකක් ගන්නවා. මොන වගේ reputation එකක්ද මේ software එකට තියෙන්නේ? මේ software එක හදන company එකට තියෙන්නේ මොන වගේ reputation එකක්ද? එතකොට ඒ සම්බන්ධව දැනුවත් වීමක් අවශ්‍යයි අත්තටම. අපි දෙයක් ගන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා අපි දෙයක් පාවිච්චි කරන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා ඒ වගේ දැනුවත් වීමක් අවශ්‍යයි. එතකොට දැන් ඒ පිළිබඳව හිතන්න ඕන ගොඩාක්. කුෂාන්ට පොඩ්ඩක් පොයින්ට්ස් එකක් ඇඩ් කරන්න තියෙනවා.
මුලින්ම ප්‍රශ්න අපි උදාහරණයට ගමුකෝ වෙබ්සයිට් එකේ ඉන්සිඩන්ට් එක අපි ඒ වගේ ඉන්සිඩන්ට් එකක් වුණාම මොකද්ද ෆලෝ කරන ප්‍රොසෙස් එක අපි ඒක ජෙනරලයිස් කරලා ගත්තොත් ඉන්සිඩන්ට් එක දැන් ඉන්සිඩන්ට් එකකදී මොනවාද මේ සයිබර් සිකියුරිටි ඉන්සිඩන්ට් එක පළවෙනි ස්ටෙප් එක තමයි ඉන්සිඩන්ට් එක අයිඩෙන්ටිෆයි කරගන්න. ඊට පස්සේ අයිඩෙන්ටිෆයි කරගෙන ඒකට තියෙනවා ඉමීඩියට් ඇක්ෂන්ස් මොනවද කියලා. දැන් ඉන්සිඩන්ට් එකක් වුණාම අපි තෝ මේ වෙබ්සයිට් එකේ අවස්ථාවනේ එහෙම නැත්නම් උදාහරණයක් විදිහට මේ දවස්වල යන ප්‍රශ්නේ තමයි මේ ransomware attack එක ගමුකෝ. ransomware attack වුණාම අපි දැනගත්තොත් right ransomware note එක ඇවිල්ලා කම්පියුටර් එකේ එනවා immediate action එක මොකද්ද? මේ දැන් තියෙන ransomware ඔය WannaCry කියන ransomware එක ඇවිල්ලා worm function එකක් තියෙන malware එක. ඒක එක කම්පියුටර් එකකින් තව කම්පියුටර් එකකට automatically spread වෙනවා ඒ තියෙන services available න. එතකොට දැන් ඕකේ පළවෙනිම ඇක්ෂන් එක වෙන්නේ දැන් ඔයාලගේ අර notification message එක එනකොට encrypt වෙලා ඉවරයි files. නමුත් අපිට මේක immediate action එක වෙන්න නම් ඒක තව කම්පියුටර් එකකට යෑමට තියෙන possibility එක නවත්තන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට අපි පළවෙනි immediate response එක වෙනවා අර ඒ කම්පියුටර් අදාළ infected machine එක කම්පියුටර් network එකෙන් ගලවන එක. දැන් ඒක මේක දැන් එතකොට ඒක ඒ උදාහරණෙදී දැන් එතකොට දෙවෙනි first step එක immediate action ඊට පස්සේ අපි ඔක පැතිරීම වළක්වනවා තුන්වෙනි එක අපි තුන්වෙනි step එක වෙනකොට අපි ඒක resolve කරන්න ඕන මේක resolve කරලා පරණ තත්ත්වයට හෝ ඒක අපිට වැඩ කරන්න පුළුවන් ප්‍රමාණය තත්ත්වයකට ගන්න ඕන ඊට පස්සේ final step එක තමයි අපි මේ incident එකෙන් ඉගෙන ගත්ත දේ apply කරන්න ඕන අනිත් ඒ හා රිලේටඩ් ඒ වගේ වෙනත් මොනවාම ඉන්සිඩන්ට් එකකට තවත් මෙවැනි දෙයක් ඉස්සරහට නොවෙන්න. ඒක තමයි ඔය ඉන්සිඩන්ට් හැන්ඩලින් පාත් එකේ තියෙන ස්ටේජස් 4. දැන් ඔය වෙබ්සයිට් එකේ ඇටැක් වෙච්ච සිනාරියෝ එකේදී අපි හිතමු වෙබ්සයිට් එකේ මේ ටයිටල් එක මොනවා හරි වෙනස් කරා කියලා. වෙනස් කරා කියමු. එතකොට දැන් අපි දැන් පොලිස් වෙබ්සයිට් එක කියලා. එතකොට ඒක රෙපියුටේෂනල් ඩැමේජ් යන්නේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොලිස් එකට. එතකොට දැන් මේක මේ විදිහට තියාගන්නත් බෑනේ. අපි එතකොට ඕක වෙලා තියෙන්නේ වෙබ්සයිට් එකේ තියෙන මොනවා හරි බග් එකක් through ඇවිල්ලා නම් ආයි ඒ දෙම වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් ඔය තියෙන වෙබ්සයිට් එකේම කොපි එකක් දැම්ම. නමුත් අපිට මේ වෙබ්සයිට් එකේ හරි විදියට එළියට පෙන්වන්නත් ඕන මොනිටර් කරන් ඉන්නත්. දැන් එතකොට කරන්න තියෙන අර defacement එක වෙච්ච තැන අපි මේක දැන් අපි ගාව backup තියන්න ඕනේ අපි proactive measures විදියට අපේ මොනවා recovery path එක විදියට ඒක backup තියන්න. මේ backup එකකින් අර site එක restore කරලා ඉවර වෙලා එතකොට දැන් අපිට පුළුවන් ආයි අර යථා තත්ත්වයට website එක අරගන්න. හැබැයි අපි තාම අර attack ආපු loop hole එක වහලා නැහැ. එතකොට ඒ වෙනුවෙන් අපි වෙනම ටීම් එකක් දාන්න ඕනේ මේ සයිට් එකට මොනිටර් කරන්න පුළුවන් ওই සයිට් එකට එන වෙබ් රික්වෙස්ට් මොනවද කාගෙන් දෙන්නේ කොහෙන් දෙන්නේ ඒව බලලා අපිට ලංකාව ඇතුලෙන් එන රික්වෙස්ට් යන අලව් කරලා අපි නම් සමහරට ෆොරින් රික්වෙස්ට් යන ඩිසේබල් කරන්න පුළුවන් සමහරට සස්පිෂස් රික්වෙස්ට් නම් ඒවා බලන් ඉඳලා ඩිසේබල් කරන්න ඒකට නෙට්වර්ක් ඇඩ්මිනිස්ට්‍රේටර්ස් වල නොලෙජ් එක තියෙනවක බලන් ඉන්න අයට ඒකට මොනිටර් කරන අයට ඒක තමයි මොනිටරින් පාර්ට් එක එතකොට ඊට අමතරව ඔය අර වෙච්ච බග් එක හදන්න ඕන ඒ හදන්න කවුරු හරි ඩෙවලොපර් කෙනෙක් නේ සයිට් එක ඩෙවලොප් කරන්න නැත්te ඒ සයිට් එක ඩෙවලොප් කරලා කෙනාව කන්ටැක්ට් කරලා අර බග් එක හදලා ආයි අර නිවැරදිව කරපු කොපි එක තමයි වෙබ්සයිට් එකේ දාන්න ඕන දාලා ඉවරලා ෆයිනල් ස්ටෙප් එක විදිහට අපි කිව්ව අර ලෙසන් ලර්න් ඇක්ටිවිටි එක තියෙන්නේ දැන් මේ වගේ බග්ස් ඊනකට හදන වෙබ්සයිට් වලට එන්නේ නැති වෙන්න අපි අර ටීම් එක දැනුවත් වෙන්න ඕනේ ඒක තමයි ඉන්සිඩන්ට් හැන්ඩලින් ප්‍රොසෙස් එක ඊට පස්සේ ඔබතුමාගේ අර තව රික්වෙස්ට් එකක් ආවා Facebook fake account social networking fake social network fake accounts ගැන. දැන් මෙහෙමයි අපි ඇත්තටම ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එකේ කවුරු හරි ගිහලා දැන් ඔබතුමාගේ නම ඔබතුමාම උදාහරණයක් ඉදිරිපත් කරා නම සර්ච් කරොත් එනවා කියලා මොන හරි ඉන්ෆෝමේෂන් එක. අපි දැනගත යුතු හැමෝම දැනගත යුතු එකක් තමයි අපි අන්තර්ජාලයේ මොනවා හරි ක්‍රියාවක් කරනවා නම් ඒ හැම කරන ක්‍රියාවකින්ම we are creating our own digital identity on the web on the internet. So whatever we do, we create an identity. So it will be accumulated. All the activities we are going to do on the internet, it will be accumulated to enhance our identity and it will be අපි identity එක create වුණාම දැන් ඒකට උදාහරණයක් Facebook එක. Facebook එකේ කෙනෙක්ගේ මගේ fake account එක දැන් මම කුෂාන් ශර්මා කියලා මගේ identity එක මම create කරලා තියෙන social network කීපයක සහ අන්තර්ජාලයේ තියෙනවා. දැන් මේ මම මගේ identity එක maintain කරන්න නැති වෙනකොට වෙන කෙනෙක්ට පුළුවන් මම වෙනුවෙන් fake identity එක create කරන්න. ඒකට දැන් මගේ identity එක අන්තර්ජාලයේ maintain මම පවත්වාගෙන යන අතරේ වෙන කෙනෙක්ට create කරොත් දැන් මම කාලයක් තිස්සේ මේක ගොඩනගාගෙන ආපු කුෂාන් ශර්මා කියන image එකේ තියෙනවා මේ qualities මේ අය තමයි friends ලා විදියට ඉන්නේ මේ අය තමයි යාගේ knowledge එක මේ path එක ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට කෙනෙක්ට අර වෙන කෙනෙක් දැන් අපි කවුරු attack එක hack කවුරු හරි මිනිස්සෙක් මගේ මාව reputation එක damage කරන්න කියලා account එකක් හැදුවත් අර ඒ account එක හදපු එක අපිට නවත්තන්න actions ගන්න පුළුවන් මොකද අපි concrete identity එකක් මේ අන්තර්ජාලය අපි වෙනුවෙන් හදලා තියෙන නිසා. එහෙම නැතුව දැන් උදාහරණයක් විදිහට මම මගේ නමින් Facebook account එකක් නැහැ කියමු. කෙනෙක් ඇවිල්ලා මගේ නමින් හදලා ඉවරලා මට Facebook එකේ report කරාට ඒකේ malicious content නැත්තම් හෝ ඒක සොසයිටි එකට හෝ Facebook අන්තර්ජාලයට කිසියම් හානියක් කරන්නේ නැත්තම් මට Facebook එක කන්වින්ස් කරන්න අමාරුයි ඒක මගේ fake account එකක් කියලා. ඒක පේන්නේ digital world එකේ එක account එකක් විතරයි. ඉතින් අපි හැමදෙස්සෙම අපි මේන්ටේන් කරන ඩෙන්ටිටි එක අනුව තමයි ඒක දෙන්නේ. දැන් Facebook එක අනිත් එක මෙහිම සර්විස් එකක් බැඳිලා නැහැ අපේ රීජන් එකට දෙන්නෙක් නැහැ. verified identity කියලා only for celebrities වගේ තමයි මේ අපේ රීජන් එකේ මේ ලංකාවට ඉන්දියාවට වගේ දෙන්නේ. එතකොට අපිට Facebook එක contact කරලා දැනට ඒ කියන්නේ direct path එක ගන්න නැහැ කියන්න මේක මේ Facebook එකේ fake profile එකක් මේක අයින් කරන්න ඕනේ. දැන් ඒකෙන් අපි කරන්නේ community based effort එකක් ගන්න. දැන් මම identity එක create කරලා තියෙනවා මට පුළුවන් මගේ යාළුවන්ට කියන්න අර fake account එක report කරන්න මේක fake original account එක මොකද්ද අරක fake එක මොකද්ද කියලා. එතකොට community based request එකක් ආව හැටි එයාලා දන්නවා ඒක evaluate කරලා මේ fake එක මොකද්ද genuine එක මොකද්ද කියලා identify කරගන්න. ඒක තමයි අර scenario දෙකම ඔබතුමාගේ අපි
yeah Sam I think if you could summarize it I think that'll be good.
I'll do it. Can I give a chance for the question if you want? I'll do that in the summarization.
Okay, so yeah, that's fine. So but otherwise we'll go. Let's try to finalize this one. If you could quickly translate and then we go to the question.
Okay. அவர் சொன்னாரு ரெண்டு பேர் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணி நாங்கள் விடயங்கள் என்னன்னா நீங்க வந்து பொதுவாக எல்லாரும் வந்து போஸ்ட்மார்ட்டம் தான் செய்யறது ஒரு வீடியோ நடந்ததுக்கு போறது ஸோ ப்ரீ மோர்ட்டம் ஒன்று செய்யலும் அதாவது வரும் முன் காப்பது என்னன்று அது மாதிரி என்னதை நீங்க ப்ரீ மோர்ட்டம் செய்யலாம் அப்ப உங்களுக்கு சொல்லப்பட்ட சில விடயங்கள் என்னன்னா அப்படி ஏதாவது ஒரு அட்டாக் உங்களோட மெஷினுக்கு வந்திருந்தா அது வந்து வார்மாக இருக்கலாம் அது வந்து அடுத்தடுத்த மெஷின்களுக்கு போகிடும் அப்படி அடுத்த மெஷின்களுக்கு போகாம இருக்கணும்னா நீங்க உடனடியாக அந்த மெஷினை நீங்க நெட்வொர்க்ல இருந்து கலட்டி எடுத்துட்டு அதுல நீங்க ஏதாவது பேக்கப் வச்சிருந்தீங்கன்னா அல்லது இப்படி ஒரு ரீஸ்டோர் பாயிண்ட் செஞ்சிருந்தீங்கன்னா அதை நீங்க திருப்பி அதை எடுத்து போகலாம். அந்த படிப்பினே நீங்க அடுத்த மெஷின்களுக்கும் நீங்க யூஸ் பண்ணி உங்களுக்கு பாவனைகளை செய்யணும். மீள இது மாதிரி நடந்தா அந்த அட்டாக் நீங்க இன்சிடென்ட்ஸா படிப்பினையாக எடுத்துக்க கண்டினியூ பண்ணி அடுத்தடுத்த வீடுகளுக்கு போகலாம். உங்களுக்கு அவரு வெப்சைட் ஒன்று அட்டாக் பண்ணினா என்ன செய்யறாங்க, இப்ப சில வெப்சைட்ஸ் இருக்குது டேட்டா அதுல அவ்வளவு பொறுமதியாக இல்லைன்றாலும் சிலதுக்கு இப்ப police.lk சொன்னாங்க, அது எங்க நாட்டுக்கு ஒரு பிரச்சனை, போலீஸையே அட்டாக் பண்ணிட்டு என்ன செய்யலாம்னா உடனடியாக உங்களோட வெப்ல ஒவ்வொரு வீக்குக்கு ஒருக்க அல்லது மந்த்துக்கு ஒருக்க பொதுவாக அப்டேட் பண்ணின இடத்துல நீங்க ஒரு பேக்கப் எடுத்து வச்சுக்கலாம். இமீடியட்லி நீங்க அட்டாக் பண்ணின அந்த ஃபைல்ஸ் எல்லாத்தையுமே டிலீட் பண்ணிட்டு நீங்க திருப்பி உங்களுக்கு ரீஸ்டோர் ஃபைல போட்டு வச்சிடலாம். போட்டுட்டு அந்த பக்ஸ் வந்திருந்த என்ன பக்கால் இந்த அட்டாக்கை நடத்தினாங்கன்னு சொல்லி பார்த்தா அந்த வெப் டிசைனர் கிட்ட சொல்லி அதே பக்கை நீங்க திருப்பி ரீஃபிக்ஸ் பண்ணி ஷார்ட் அவுட் பண்ணிடலாம். அடுத்தது சோஷியல் நெட்வொர்க்கால இப்போ உங்களுக்கு எதிராக I have a problem also. I'll ask that question last on. Okay. Social network சம்பந்தமாக என்ன சொல்றாங்கன்னா, நீங்க உங்களோட ப்ரொஃபைல் ஒருத்தர் செஞ்சிரு அது இப்படி அட்டாக் பண்றாங்க உங்களுக்கு இப்படி செய்யறாங்கன்னு சொல்லி நீங்க இன்சிடென்ட் பண்ணினா உங்களோட பேர்ல ஒரு ப்ரொஃபைல் ஏற்கனவே நீங்க செஞ்சு இல்லைன்னா ஃபேஸ்புக்லயோ இதுலயோ நீங்க கம்ப்ளைண்ட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா அது அவங்களுக்கு பெருசா இன்சிடென்ட் எடுக்க மாட்டாங்க. ஏன்னா எங்கட போல நாடுகள்ல வளர்ந்து வர நாடுகள்ல நாங்க பெரிய அளவு செலிபிரிட்டிஸ் அப்படியே ப்ரொஃபைல் உள்ள ஆட்கள் இல்லாதனால அதுக்காக வேண்டி அந்த அளவு அவங்க கவனம் செலுத்த மாட்டாங்க. அதெல்லாம் நீங்க ஒரு ப்ரொஃபைல நல்ல முறையில மெயின்டைன் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு போயிருந்தீங்கன்னு சொன்னா அந்த ஃபேஸ்புக்ல எதுலயோ அப்போ உங்களுக்கு இணையாவது ஒருத்தர் நீங்க உங்களோட பேரை கிரியேட் பண்ணி இன்னொரு அட்டாக் பண்ணினாங்கன்னா உங்களுக்கு அதை சொல்லலாம், இது நான் இன்னால் தான் எனக்கு எதிராக இப்படி செஞ்சிருக்காங்கன்னு சொல்லி உங்களுக்கு அது இன்சிடென்ட்ஸாக நீங்க அதை கூறலாம்னு அவர் சொன்னாரு. அப்ப அவங்க பார்ப்பாங்க, இல்லைண்டா நீங்க அப்படி ஒரு ப்ரொஃபைல் உங்களுக்கு இல்லைன்னா யாரோ ஒருத்தர் அட்டாக் பண்ணதுக்காக வேண்டி நீங்க அதுக்கு ப்ரூஃப் பண்ணி இது பண்ணி சொல்லலாம்னாங்க. That's all. I have a question that now since as you said that we need to create a profile and we need to well maintain the profile in order to prove that I am the so and so on that particular profile. So if somebody attack or somebody create another profile and if they want to create my image negatively, I can say that okay, this is my existing profile, this is a fake profile. Is it mean that I need to create profile each and every social network in the world?
Not so. Generally, everybody maintain profiles on Facebook, like Facebook, Twitter, mostly. It doesn't mean that you need to create accounts on all the places. But of course, there is a possibility. Like let's say you are going to create an account on Facebook. They have a network called Hi-Fi. We don't have account on Hi-Fi, where I many social networks. So, but someone can create account there. Only thing is the possibility of contacting the actual service provider, let's say Facebook or the social network service provider, and convincing them that this is the genuine account and this is a fake account, it is difficult. So there's no such path currently exists for Sri Lanka or maybe South Asian region. So that is the issue. Otherwise, if for the Europe countries and various other countries, they have the direct path. They have a Facebook search team or the other social network search teams. They can directly contact the relevant social network and inform them that this is the fake account, this is the actual account. So let's say if it is a search team, so let's say Europe, UK search team, so they can contact the Facebook and on behalf of the UK citizens, the search team can contact Facebook and inform them that this is the genuine one. But things will improve in future, but currently there's no such thing. So that is why it is better to have an account on known Facebook or some this kind of known social networks. Yeah, so you will not be get into trouble in future.
Thank you.
So we need to give chance to that gentleman who has been waiting for a while. So please, Phil.
Thank you. My name is Hans Bilimore. I'm from an organization called the Grassrooted Trust. And I think coming here this morning, perhaps I had different expectations. Because we work with the National Child Protection Authority, the Solicitor General's Office, the CID Cybercrimes Division on what we call cyber exploitation and violence. Singaling kiwot cyber surakam saha prachandattaya. To put it in its most crudest form, it involves the sharing of naked pictures, most often of young women. In our experience, ape අත්දැකීමෙන් ලංකාවේ හැමතැනම මේක වෙනවා. අපි යන තැනකට ෆෝන් එකක් තියනවා නම් කැමරා එකක් තියනවා නම් යම්කිසි සම්බන්ධයක් තියනවා නම් පිරිමේක් සහ කාන්තා ළමයෙක් අතර පින්තූරයක් නැත්නම් වීඩියෝ එකක් බොහෝ විට යවනවා. ඒ වාගේම මං හිතනවා මේ තරුණ කණ්ඩායම් මාත් එක්ක එකඟ වෙයි. ඒවා එකතු කරලා Dropbox වල දාලා මේ link වල දාලා ඒවා හැමතැනම පැතිරෙනවා. ඒමත් වෙනවා. දැන් මේක අවුරුදු 2ක් තිස්සේ අපි කතා කරන වැඩක්. අපි ශ්‍රී ලංකා සර්ට් එකත් එක්කත් මේක පිළිබඳව කතා කරලා තියෙනවා. අපි ඇප්සර්ට් රිපෝට් එක බැලුවොත් මේ අවුරුද්ද 2016 ඇප්සර්ට් රිපෝට් එක බැලුවොත් ෆිෂිං අරවා මෙව ඔක්කොම තියෙනවා. ඒත් පොඩ්ඩක් බැලුවොත් වැඩි හරියක් 2400කට අඩු තරමක් තියෙනවා රිපෝට් වෙලා ඉන්සිඩන්ට්ස් 2200ක් සෝෂල් මීඩියා රිලේටඩ්. නේද? ගිය අවුරුද්දේ එහෙමත් අපි බැලුවොත් 2800ක් විතර තිබ්බා 2700ක් සෝෂල් මීඩියා රිලේටඩ්. ඉතින් අපිට තියෙන ගැටලුව මේකයි. අපිට ගැටලු දෙකක් තියෙනවා. පළවෙනි ගැටලුව තමයි ඇයි තාම අපි කිසිම අධ්‍යාපනයක් මේ පිළිබඳව කරලා නැති ඒක තමයි පළවෙනි ගැටලුව. ඇයි අපි පාසල් වලට ගිහිල්ලා මේ ගැන කතා කරලා තියෙන්නේ නැත්තේ? ඒක ලින්ක් වෙනවාද සමහර විට අපිට ලිංගික හා ප්‍රජනන සෞඛ්‍ය පවා අපේ පාසල් වල කරන්නේ නැති එක. ඒකට ලින්ක් වෙනවාද මේ ගැටලුව අපිට කතා කරන්න බැරි තැනක් වෙලාද? ඒක ගැන අපි හිතන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් අපි ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා මේ පැනල් එකෙන් ඒ පැත්තට අපි මොකද්ද කරන්න පුළුවන්. අනිත් එක ශ්‍රී ලංකා සර්ට් එකට අපි රිපෝට් කරනවා කියමු. ඒත් මොකද්ද එතනින් ප්‍රතිඵලය? බොහෝ විට අපිට යන්න තියෙනවා අවුරුදු 18න් අඩු නම් අපි NCPA හරහා තමයි වැඩේ කරන්නේ. 18න් ඉහළ නම් අපි CID cyber crime division එකට යන්න ඕනේ, 5th floor එකට යන්න ඕනේ. කොහොමද කරන්නේ? අපි director ලියුමක් ලියන්න ඕනේ. director ලියුමක් ලියලා ඊට පස්සේ director refer කරනවා CID cyber crime division එකට. ඉතින් ඒ කාල පරතරය පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න. පොඩ්ඩක් හිතන්න පින්තූරයක් ගත්තම කොච්චර ඉක්මනට යනවාද කියලා. උදාහරණයක් WhatsApp තියෙනවද ළමයින්ට? WhatsApp තියෙනවද? දැන් WhatsApp එකේ පින්තූරයක් ආවම ලස්සන කෙල්ලෙක්ගේ නිරුවත් ඡායාරූපයක් ආවම ඒක තියාගෙන ස්ටෝර් කරනවාද? ඒක ඕගලන්ගේ group එක share කරනවාද? මචං බලපන් කියලා. මොකද්ද මෙතන තියෙන්නේ කියලා. දැන් ඒක තමයි අපේ තිත්ත ඇත්ත. දැන් ඒ තිත්ත ඇත්ත ගැන අපි කතා කරන්නේ නැති එක මට ලොකු ගැටලුවක්. number 1. අනිත් එක අපි මේක පිළිබඳව රිසර්ච් උත් කළා නැහැ. දැන් අපි ආයතනයක් වශයෙන් NCPA එකත් එක්ක වැඩ කරද්දී අපි case study හදනවා. අපි case study හදලා අපි යවනවා CID එකට යවනවා ආයතන යනවා මේ වගේ case එකක් තියෙනවා මේ වගේ case එකක් තියෙනවා ශ්‍රී ලංකා සර්ට් එකට පවා අපි යවනවා. අපි රොෂාන් චන්ද්‍රගුප්තත් එක්ක වැඩ කරන්නේ. දන්නවත් ඇති. ඉතින් මේකට අපිට response mechanism එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ ළමයින්ට මේ වගේ දෙයක් වුණා කියමු කොහෙටද යන්නේ? අර සර් දැන් ගෙනාපු ප්‍රශ්නේ. මේ කොහෙටද යන්නේ? දැනට යන්න තියෙන්නේ CID cyber crime division. මම කිව්වා වගේ not the greatest place to go to. It is not a friendly response. අනිත් එක අපි හිතමු NCPA එකට යනවා කියලා ට්‍රේනින් දීලා තියනවාද? අර NCPA එකේම ඉන්න පොලිසියට ට්‍රේනින් දීලා තියනවාද? උදාහරණයක් වශයෙන් අපි එක වික්ටිම් කෙනෙක් එතනට අරන් ගියා. එතනින් අහනවා වික්ටිම්ගේ මිස්ම මේ පින්තූරය යවුවද? ඒ පොලිස් ඔෆිසර් තේරුම් ගන්න බෑ මේ ඒ පින්තූර මිස්ම යවුවා කියලා. ඉතින් එතන තමයි ඒ පොලිස් ඔෆිසර් ගැටලුව තිබ්බේ. අර යවපු පින්තූරේ ඒකත් එක්ක මොකද්ද වුනේ? ඒකත් එක්ක කරපු බලපෑම් ඒව ගැන ප්‍රශ්න නෙමෙයි. මේ මිස් මේ වගේ පින්තූරක් යවුව එක තමයි ප්‍රශ්නේ තිබ්බේ. ඉතින් දැන් අපේ මේ වර්තමාන සංස්කෘතිය දිහා බැලුවාම මේ අපේ තරුණ පරපුරට එන ගැටලු දිහා බැලුවාම අපි මෙව්ව ගැන නොකතා කරන එක තමයි මට තියෙන ගැටලුව. ඉතින් මම මේ පැනල් එකෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා මේ ඉන්ටර්නෙට් සොසයිටි එකෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා ICT එකෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා ශ්‍රී ලංකා සර්ට් එකෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා මිනිස්ට්‍රි ඔෆ් එඩියුකේෂන් එකෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා මිනිස්ට්‍රි ඔෆ් telecom and digital infrastructure I think that's the full form ඒ මිනිස්ට්‍රි එකෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා කරුණාකරලා මේක පිළිබඳව number 1 රිසර්ච් කරන්න කරුණාකරලා number 2 මේක පිළිබඳව දැනුවත් කිරීම වැඩසටහන් කරන්න වයසානුකූලව පාසල්වල ඒකට අපි මොකක්ද ගන්න පුළුවන් ස්ටෙප්ස් and 3 අපේ ළමයි අපේ තරුණයන් කොහෙටද යන්නේ මේ වාගේ ගැටලුවක් තිබ්බම අපි හිතමු මොනරාගල් ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවා කියලා අපි හිතමු පොළොන්නරුව ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවා කියලා අපි හිතමු අනුරාධපුර ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවා කියලා ඒ ළමයින් කොහෙටද යන්නේ දැනට මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ අපිව Facebook එකේ හොයලා නැත්නම් Instagram එකේ හොයලා අපි ළඟට එනවා that is an untenable situation why do they have to come all the way to Colombo and find us for us to help them with their case there should be a government response it's been 2 years since we broke this story it's been 2 years since we have brought it to the attention of people and frankly I am very disappointed and in some instances disgusted that there has been no response yet by government. So that's the challenge I lay before this esteemed panel. Thank you.
So let me
Hold on. Can you quickly give some translation on that?
Yeah. ஒரு நல்ல ஒரு விடயம் அவர் கூறினாரு. எல்லாருக்கும் விளங்கியிருக்கும் நினைக்கிறேன். அதிகமாக சிங்களம் தெரியும் தான். ஓகே குட். இருந்தாலும் நான் சாராம்சமாக சொல்றேன். அவர் சொல்றாரு, இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு பிரச்சனை வந்தால் எங்களுக்கு, அவர் சொல்றாரு, தகவல்கள் சொன்னாரு, நிறைய இன்சிடென்ட்கள் நடந்ததுல கடந்த வருடம் 2800 2700 வந்து சோஷியல் நெட்வொர்க், இந்த வரையில 2400 கேசஸ்ல 2200 வந்து சோஷியல் நெட்வொர்க் சம்பந்தமாகத்தான் இந்த பிரச்சனைகள் நடந்திருக்குது. அப்ப இப்படி ஒரு பிரச்சனை நடந்தா இந்த அந்த போட்டோ ஒன்று பிடிச்சோ அல்லது அந்த இன்சிடென்ட்ஸ் நடக்கிறதுக்கு உள்ள தவறு நடக்கக்கூடிய சான்சஸ் வந்து அந்த விகிதம் வந்து வேகமாக நடக்குது இது. ஆனா இதுக்கான முடிவுகளை எடுக்கிறதுக்காகவே டைம் மிச்ச நேரம் போகுது. ஆனா அத தகவல் யாருக்கும் போயிட்டு கம்ப்ளைண்ட் பண்ணினா, போலீஸுக்கு போயிட்டு கம்ப்ளைண்ட் பண்ணினா, அந்த கம்ப்ளைண்ட் எடுக்கிற ஆட்களுக்கு தெரியாது இது எப்படி கம்ப்ளைண்ட் எடுக்கிறதுன்னு சொல்லி. அதே டைம்ல இன்சிடென்ட் நடந்த ஆட்களுக்கு தெரியாது இது யாருக்கிட்ட போய் சொல்லணும். அவர் சொல்றாரு, நாங்க ஒரு ஏதாவது ஒரு மெக்கானிசம் வச்சா இது சம்பந்தமான அறிவுரைகளை பாடசாலைகளையோ அல்லது நாங்க பாடசாலைகள் சமூக சம்பந்தமான எதுவும் தளங்கள்ல நாங்க ஏதாவது ஒரு வீடியோவோ ட்ரைனிங்கோ ஏதாவது ஒன்று செஞ்சது அடுத்த தலைமுறைக்கு இப்படி ஒரு பிரச்சனை வந்து இப்படித்தான் நீங்க ஹேண்டில் பண்ணணும்னு சொல்லி டீச் பண்ணதுக்கு ஏதாவது மெத்தட் ஒன்று இருந்தா நல்லா. அடுத்து இந்த மாதிரி கம்ப்ளைண்ட் பண்ண வந்தா அந்த கம்ப்ளைண்ட் வந்து நிறைய நாளில் கம்ப்ளைண்ட் பண்ணும் போது இவங்க சரியான முறையில் ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் எடுக்கிறாங்கல்ல, அல்லது அந்த ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் எடுக்கிறதுக்காக காலகாலம் வந்து அதிகமா போகுது. அதுக்கு பிறகு இந்த விக்டிமாவினால் போய் கேட்டா அவங்கள்ட்ட கேட்கிற கேள்வியே வந்து தவறாக இருக்குது. ஒரு படம் எடுத்து அனுப்பினா அவங்க கேட்கிறாங்க, நீங்களா இந்த படத்தை எடுத்து அனுப்பினீங்க, அவருக்கு அந்த இன்சிடென்ட்ஸ் பெரிய பிரச்சனை இல்லை, ஆனா இந்த படம் எடுத்து நீங்களா அனுப்பினீங்கன்ற ஒரு தான் வராங்க. இந்த மாதிரி இது அவங்க 2 வருடமாக அவங்க இந்த விதியங்கள் எல்லாம் இது பண்ணி அவங்க இதுக்காக ஒர்க் பண்றாங்க, இந்த எல்லாம் சொசைட்டி இதுங்களோட ஒர்க் பண்றாங்க. ஆனா சரியான ஒரு தீர்வு கிடைக்குது இல்லை. எல்லாருமே பிரச்சனை வந்தா அங்கால எங்களை தேடி அவங்கள்ட்ட தான் போறாங்க. ஏன்னா இந்த மாதிரி அத்தாரிட்டி கிட்ட போனாலும் சரியான பதில் கிடைக்குது இல்லைன்னு அத்தாரிட்டி கிட்ட சொல்றாங்க. என்ன செய்யலாம்?
Okay, thanks, Syam. I was told that we can go for another 15 minutes. So we have lunch for 45 minutes because we have another session at 1:30. So we'll be fine with that. So before you ask your question, now because we have someone from law enforcement here. So, and also I think he's willing to comment as well.
මට ඒ ගැන කියන්න තියෙන්නේ දැන් ෆේක් accounts කොච්චර පාවිච්චි කරලා ප්‍රශ්න. අපිට තාක්ෂණයේ දියුණු වෙන්න ඕන මේ ෆේක් account එකේ කරපු කෙනා කවුද කියලා හොයාගන්න. ඒක නැති වුණාම තමයි ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ. අර මහත්තයා කියපු කතාව ඇත්ත. පොලිසියට ගියාම ඒ අදාළ කෙනා හොයාගන්න හරි අමාරුයි. නමුත් මෙතන ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ හැරස් කරපු කෙනා කවුද? මේ ආපු කෙනා ඒ වෙලේ දැන් මම ෆේක් account එකක් කිසිම මේකක් නැතුව පාවිච්චි කරාට ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. ඒක මගේ නමුත් ඒකෙන් මම ඒකට මුවා වෙලා සමාජ විරෝධී දෙයක් කරනවා නම් දරුවෙක්ව හැරස් කරනවා නම් සෙක්ෂුවලි හරි මොන විදියකට හරි අන්න එයාව කොහොමද අපි තාක්ෂණය පාවිච්චි කරලා මොනිටර් කරලා කැප්චර් කරලා මෙයාමයි මේක කරේ කියලා අන්නේ තාක්ෂණය එක්ක පිටරටින් ගන්න වෙනවා නැත්නම් අපි මෙහෙන් දිනු කරන්න වෙනවා මොන හරි කරලා මෙන්න මේක නවත්තන්න පුළුවන් ක්‍රමවේදයක් හදනවා නම් ඒක පොලිස් ඩිපාර්ට්මන්ට් එකටත් ප්‍රයෝජන වෙනවා මම හිතන්නේ වෙන ආයතන හරියට ප්‍රයෝජන වෙනවා එන්නේ ඒක හින්දා තමයි දැන් ඒක ගියාම එක්ක ගෙනා පැමිණිලා පරක්කුයි මොන හරි කරලා මිනිස්සුන්ගේ රස්තිය ආදු වෙන එක විතරයි අවසාන වශයෙන් වෙන්නේ කිසිම ලීගල් ඇක්ෂන් එකක් ගන්නවා අඩුම තරම තමයි. නමුත් අපිට තාක්ෂණික හැටියට මේවා කරන්න පුළුවන් නම් මෙන්න මෙයා තමයි මේක මේවා කරේ කියලා හොයා ගන්න පුළුවන්. අමාරු ඇති. ඒක තමයි වෙන්න ඕන කියලා මම පුද්ගලිකව හිතනවා.
Okay. Thank you. So basically the summary was that they are also this is also a concern for them and so they are willing to help, but only thing is that they need to have knowledge on how to basically investigating these incidents or handling abuses related to these incidents, right? So this is one of the concerns what they have. But I know that Sagarika and ISOC chapter has been conducting some training and capacity building for law enforcement on these. Maybe Sagarika, can you comment on that?
Yes. So we have been getting like lot of complaints from the youth that we were harassing. Getting harassed by this guy, that guy, likewise. So based on these like incidents, so ISOC.lk, we have been established a Facebook called hitawati.lk. In English, it's called Confidended. මං සිංහලෙන් කියන්නම් අපි hitawati.lk පටන් ගත්තේ ඇත්තටම කාන්තා සහ ළමයින්ගේ Facebook related issues ගැන කතා කරන්න. මොකද ඇත්තටම ඔය අර මහත්තයා කිව්වා වගේ Facebook එකේ nude photo එකක් ගියොත් නිරුවත් පින්තූරයක් ගියොත් ළමයිගේ එහෙම නැත්නම් මූණට නිරුවත් කඳක් හයි කරලා ගියොත් ගෑන් ළමයි හුඟක් වෙලාවට මොකද අපි එක පටන් ගත්ත ඇත්තටම ඒ කාලේ ලංකාවේ හුඟක් සියදිවි නසා ගැනීමේ ප්‍රතිශතයක් වැඩි වුණා ඉස්කෝලේ යන ළමයින්ගේ ඔය වගේ සිද්ධි නිසා. හැබැයි පොලිසියට යන්න කිසිම කාන්තාවක් මම හිතන්නේ පිරිමි කෙනෙක්වත් කැමති වෙන්නේ නැහැ මොකද ඔය අහන ප්‍රශ්න නිසා. ඉතින් අපි හිතුවා ළඟම ඉන්න දැන් පිරිමි කෙනෙකුට තමන්ගේ ගැටලුව කියනවට වැඩිය කාන්තාවකට තවත් කාන්තාවකට මට මේ වගේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා කියලා කියන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක බේස් කරගෙන අපි hitavati.lk කියලා සයිට් එකක් පටන් ගත්තා. ඒක ඇත්තටම ටෙක්නිකල් පැත්ත හැන්ඩල් කරන්නේත් ලීගල් පැත්ත හැන්ඩල් කරන්නේත් ඔක්කොම කාන්තාවෝ. අපි පොරොන්දුනා 100%ක්ම රහස්‍යභාවය රකින්න. අපිට හුඟක් අයගේ ජීවිත බේර ගන්න පුළුවන් වුණා ඒක හරහා. අපි ඒකේ can you put that link hitavati.lk?
For the moment, we can't because this is in the live stream.
Okay. So if you go to www.hitavati.lk, you can see we have put the links to the police and TechCert, SLCert, etc. And also we have put our numbers as well and emails. And when they send us the email, what we do is we just first talk to them and then we'll see whether we can sort it out from our capacity. If not, what we did was we have set of lawyers from the various universities. So we directed those people to them. If not, we have been guiding them to go to police and put a complaint properly. And later on, we followed up to the certain level.
Madam, if I can interject, I think what you are doing is excellent. I am not in any way taking away from your intervention. We provide a similar service through bakamuno.lk and grassrooted through our Facebook sites. But what we need to understand also is that these pictures are not shared via just Facebook. As you yourself said, the internet is not Facebook. Young people have access to a lot of different social media applications, whether it is Hi-Fi, whether it is Imo, whether it is Kik, whether it is WhatsApp, Viber, all sorts of different messaging services. What I am asking here is, what is the problem? Given the scale of, let's identify the scale first. Let's do research to identify the scale. And number two, what is holding us back from going into schools and making sure that young people like this have the information that they need? That is my struggle right now. Why the Ministry of Education, why the Ministry of Women and Children Affairs, why all the concerned ministries have not pushed for a structured education program within the schools, which is the most sensible place for it. Rather than trying to do out of school youth or target out of school youth. Nobody has campaigned saying 2 plus 2 is 4 because we learn. දෙකයි 4යි අපි ඉගෙන ගන්න පාසලේ. ඉතින් මේකත් අපි පාසලේ ඉගෙන ගන්නේ නැත්තේ මොකද කියලා මම මෙතන අහන්නේ.
ඇත්තටම කියනවා නම් අපි ඇත්තටම කලින් ඉඳන්ම ඉස්කෝලේ ට්‍රේනින් ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම්ස් කරගෙන ආවා. අපි සේෆර් ඉන්ටර්නෙට් ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එක ඉන්ට්‍රොඩියුස් කරා 2016. අපි ගියා এডুকেෂන් මිනිස්ට්‍රි එකට. අපිට ඉස්කෝල වලට යන්න මොකද පර්මිෂන් නැතුව ඉස්කෝල වලට යන්න බෑ. ගිහිල්ලා මේ এডুকেෂන් මිනිස්ට්‍රි එකත් එක්ක කතා කරනකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ කිව්වේ අපි ICT එකත් එක්ක MOU එකක් සයින් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ඇතුල් වෙන්න අවසර දෙන්න බෑ ISOC විදියට. මං කෝ අපි ෆ්‍රී ඔෆ් චාර්ජ් කරන්නේ අපිට ඕනේ මේ ළමයින්ව මේ ව්‍යසනයෙන් ගලව ගන්න. අපි එන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට උදව් කරන්න. මේක ISOC එකට උදව්වක් නෙමෙයි අපිට ඕනේ এডুকেෂන් මිනිස්ට්‍රි එකට උදව්වක් විදියට ගිහිල්ලා අපේ මේ සේෆ් ඉන්ටර්නෙට් ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එක අපේ වියදමෙන් අපි ඩිලිවර් කරන්න. ළමයින්ට විතරක් නෙමෙයි අම්මලාට ටීචර්ස්ලාට ඔක්කොම. හැබැයි අපිට ඒ අවසරය ලැබුණේ නැහැ. ඒක නිසා අපි ඊළඟ පියවර විදිහට technical colleges, higher education institutes තෝරගෙන ඒකේ ළමයින්ට දුන්න at least අපිට කොටසක් හරි ගලව ගන්න පුළුවන්.
No, I understand that, madam. You are making inroads where you can. But what I'm saying is perhaps it is time for all of us to hold the government accountable and tell them that this is what we require, because your technical institutes are few and far between. Every school gets a textbook, correct? A textbook that is standardized across the board. It should be in the textbook. Text පොතේ තියෙන්න ඕනේ. මේක තියෙන්න. අනිත් එක ඒ text පොතේ දාලා මේ උගන්නන්න නැත්නම් ඒ ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවා. අපේ දැනට health and physical education curriculum එක ගෙදර ගිහිල්ලා කියවන්න එන සතියේ කියවමු මේක exam එකට එන්නේ නැහැ. අපි එන මාසේ මේක කරමු.
තේරුණානේ ඒ වාගේ ලැජ්ජ වෙන්න හොඳ නෑ මේක ගැන අනිත් එක මේ ඉන්ටර්නෙට් සේෆ්ටි කියන්නේ not just about your passwords it is about what you share it is about how you treat each other it is about respect අපි ගෞරවය ගැන කතා කරන්න ඕනේ ආත්ම ගෞරවය ගැන කතා කරන්න ඕනේ ආත්ම අභිමානය ගැන කතා කරන්න ඕනේ මෙව්ව ගැන කතා කරන්න ඕනේ ඉතින් අපි এডুকেෂන් ගැන කියද්දි මෙව්ව ගැන කතා කරන්න නැතුව බෑ අපි ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එක ගැන විතරක් නෙමෙයි කතා කරන්න ඕනේ we have to talk about how we treat each other online and offline because it has an impact on both.
Okay. Thanks for all that input. Actually, now, so what I see, obviously, now we have a limitation of time here, and also this is not a topic, of course, can be sorted out within a small amount of time. So what I see is, so there are, of course, we have law enforcement, we have, Sagarika, and their movement where they do a lot of these activities as well. And also we have here TechCert. In fact, TechCert also actually offer a lot of capacity building and training on many of these things. Actually, what you have been telling actually, and also you have a lot of valid points there. I mean, the things are critical. We have to quickly respond and all that. So I think one important thing is in fact, you yourself, you mentioned about a lot of organizations within the country, within as a national from a national perspective. So I think we have to have a lot of collaboration. That's what I think, right? So there has to be a lot of collaboration rather than we do things separately within ourselves, silos. I think we have to make sure that all these organizations, different bodies, come to some common discussion, common understanding, and take the matters into the next level. So that's something. And also, actually, he has been waiting to give some point. Let's give a very quick chance. We have 5 more minutes. So can we give him a mic?
Thank you, Vyasa. My name is Tarak Nanayakara. Small answer to the question. Why didn't you go behind the president and make a complaint regarding these things, sir? Because president's office.lk, that is the email ID. Second is pvtsec@presidentoffice.lk, right? You can go behind the president. If not, you can make a complaint to the United Nations headquarters, right? Headquarters, yeah, because that is the thing. One day, there should be a way that we have to go behind the UN to go into the toilet. Right, that is the thing happening in this country, right? That is the answer, right? So next question is, sir, if anything happens in the Facebook, right, can a Sri Lankan contact Mark Zuckerberg, the Facebook, the owner? Can a Sri Lankan, what is the way? That is the first question.
Just raise the question again.
Yes. Can a Sri Lankan contact directly the Facebook owner, Mark Zuckerberg? First question, right? Second question, Melissa Mayer, because I need the need has arisen to me. I can't block some receiving emails. I tried to contact Melissa Mayer, owner of Yahoo. It was a failure. I went to US Embassy. It was a failure. So that's it. Thank you.
The first question is if I got it correctly, so is there a possibility to contact Facebook owner and have a dialogue with Facebook owner?
Is it dialogue? Representative at least to send a message to Facebook owner.
Right, actually, right. So we the tech cert, actually there are two cert seems that there is SL cert is the government cert where they have the much more representation on government, and from tech cert we are actually a commercialized company where we provide only services to different segment, but we have the responsibility to go and educate general public, and we do provide our education programs, extended our education programs to the publics. With that, we with the episode community, we met Facebook, some of the representatives from Facebook, and we tried to initiate a dialogue. But unfortunately, so far they don't have a facility within our region to contact their security team directly to have a dialogue and have a separate channel to address this kind of questions. So that is the answer for your question.
Melissa Mayer was the employee number 232 of Google. Former employee, Melissa Mayer is the owner of Yahoo, founder of Yahoo, Melissa Mayer, right? She was the early employee of Google, employee number 232, right? Now Google has restricted the identification of a photograph, right? Google search, there was a method that a person can search, insert photograph to the Google search criteria, and that has been stopped. I don't know that it has been stopped due to the government regulations or whatever it is. What is the answer for that? Can you understand me?
We understood actually your mainly you need to contact certain personnel. I think probably let's given the time limit we have, I think probably I think he has given some answer now. So let us actually we take it offline, because this is more of a personal. You want to contact the certain individual, certain person. So we'll take it offline.
My last question.
Yeah.
Is there a complaining method to search application form to be filled, to be sent to Mark Zuckerberg or Melissa Mayer, Yahoo owners? There are application that can be sent to them. There's a method that the Sri Lankan can reach Melissa Mayer.
So you mean that, let's say you want to contact Google, eBay, or eBay, there's a search teams, or you can directly contact them. So there are some mechanisms to report abuse at, let's say, abuse at Facebook, abuse at Google. There's email addresses, so you can directly communicate with them. Other than that, there's no direct channel where you can directly, general public cannot directly contact the organization. Only, let's say, ICT or TRC or relevant authoritative bodies may initiate a discussion with the teams. Other than that, there's no such path.
Okay. Yes. Thanks for that. So,
can I?
Asel, yes.
I need to add a few things regarding based on his request also.
Okay.
Now the request, as I understood, there were two main requests. One is, why don't we make this awareness part of the mainstream education, right? That is one point. And on the social protection agencies like police, why don't they have a properly educated and easily accessible department which have proper knowledge to handle such sensitive cases established, so that people can easily reach them and without without the suspicion of getting sensitive information leaked out of that location, uh, to easily access for females or males, whatever sensitive incident that happens, we have to have easy access and confidential access, so that we can trust and easily give our problem to them, and they will make sure that that is resolved. So these 2 points I think we have to highlight. And as IGF, the ministry secretary also said, they need our inputs for the development of the digital laws and regulations in the country. So these 2 points are very key 2 points that we need to highlight as an output of this IGF, right?
Yes. Yes.
Make it mainstream for the education. There is a subject called civics. Currently, we can include that as part of it. From grade 6, there's a subject called civics. That should be part of that mainstream education. And from the law enforcement point of view, we have to have easy access. Now, we don't need to go to the director to go, raise such a case.
Okay.
So we have to have a very easy access and confidential access to law enforcement.
Yeah.
That these 2 points we need to highlight as an
Okay.
output.
Yeah, I think Asela, we got your point. So very valid 2 points actually he made. I think that need to be considered. So also I would say probably I think maybe given the time, let us try to conclude the session now. So okay, so do you have some comment?
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
I'll quickly. I'll take a minute. So the question the gentleman was talking about, actually, I represent ICTA, and I work with Ministry of Education as well. So I used to be the country manager for Intel in Sri Lanka for 15 years. So I have a bigger private sector involved. So the say digitization in the education is getting big currently, and we have looked at almost all the things has been discussed. So one thing is there's EduCert is already established together with the Sri Lanka CERT. So that is getting implemented across the nation for all the 10,000 schools we have, for the 4 million students, 250,000 teachers we have. So that is getting in. And also the second one is there are ICT school clubs or the societies has been created within all the schools. Already 800 has been set up so far. There's going to be many more coming in within next couple of or this second half of this year. So we will have a platform to discuss all these matters. And actually we are right now in the, I think I'm getting feedback with this. We are in the middle of finalizing the content for all that. I think we had a meeting yesterday as well at the Ministry of Education. So I think there was somebody from IGF also was part of that. So we are taking in all that inputs, which is, and Sagarika mentioned, like, there was no access. So we will become intermediary. We will create that access. So we, Education Ministry is kind of open, which is together with the ICT, we are creating this format. All of us are, all the parties are invited, including the Sri Lanka CERT, to police, to everybody. And also we will enable the teachers who, like, we have career guidance counselors, all that within the education system. So we will enable them with all the tools, basically address these issues. Like, it will be difficult for somebody to go from outside to get things done in the education system, because that has the traditions and their way of doing things. So we are using the same platforms to get all these newer things to be taken into the system. So we can give that more information. The good news is these things have been looked at, and things are in progress.
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much, actually, for sharing that information. It has been very useful, and also actually good to know that that sort of effort has been done, and it is actually one of the priorities as well. So I just to summarize this session, so there were key things actually came out with all this discussion. Pretty much we spent the first half of the session talking about the cyber security aspect, but I see is mostly the second half of the discussion is focused on the safety aspect, so internet safety aspect. So two things. Now there are plenty of things to talk about, but unfortunately we don't have time. So I would actually think this discussion has to be carried forward. So Mahi, Sagarika, I think, and the IGF committee, I think this is something that you can think about, even have some, I don't think yet that you have to wait until the next IGF comes, maybe have some more discussion, dialogue, and see how we can move forward. Also, it's very important for all those parties, because there were that gentleman who spoke about from the NPC, I believe, right? So and then we had law enforcement. So collaboration is something very important. Now, I just want to add one point from the organization that I represent, which is ICANN. Now, this problem is not just in Sri Lanka, actually, because this is a global problem. So pretty much in every country, they all have that, because internet doesn't have boundaries. Sometimes these contents could be, in one server in another country. Someone could be using it from another country. So it's all global, right? So this is why a global collaboration is needed. So in ICANN, I told you that ICANN is a multi-stakeholder body, and we have a working group called Public Safety Working Group, PSWG, Public Safety Working Group. So this is done through what we call a government advisory committee within ICANN, and Sri Lanka is a member, or Sri Lanka is represented at the government advisory committee at ICANN. So ICTA, ICTA is actually representing GAC at the ICANN meetings. And also, I would really encourage the law enforcement here, like the police, the law enforcement, even the justice sector, and so on. They be involved in this public safety working group as well. So if there are any related personalities here, I'm very happy to talk to you about how you can participate, how you can get involved with these discussions and so on, especially with the law enforcement and the government as well. So I think with that, we will try to conclude this session. Thank you very much for all your input and participation. So let's take the break. unfortunately, the next, we don't have much time for the lunch. So let's take a quick break and be back at 1:30. Thank you. And thanks very much for all the panel members. Thank you.